Hey, small groups. Great to be with you today talking about Vision 2024. Love talking about vision, what God's got for us, where He's moving. And so I started my talk by talking about how the Lord had really encountered me powerfully on the 7th of January, right at the beginning of the year. Been a tough start to the year, and yet the Lord's kindness. And went out to the front and just got absolutely hit by His Spirit and revelation. And in that revelation, the Lord started birthing something. I was like, what's going on physically? Spiritually birthing something. Like, Jesus, what is this? And I felt like Him speaking through Acts 10 and 11 about being an Antioch church. And the Antioch church is really this moment where Peter takes the gospel where it's been for the Jewish people. Suddenly he has this revelation, oh my goodness, it's for the whole world. It's for all people. And the Antioch church was a really important place at that time, became a church planting church, a missionary church. And that's when restoring the city, renewing the nation is our vision. Multi-site church in Cardiff, and then renewing the nation. And it feels like actually in the next step it will that feels like a real push on that into our context as well. So that was exciting. And Isaiah 54 verses 2 and 3, we're going to be basing the vision series around. Enlarge the place of your tent, stretch your tent curtains wide, do not hold back, lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes. Now, as is always the case with an Old Testament passage written into a context, and verse 1 starts by talking about a barren woman. It's like, why would you need to enlarge the place of your tent? It's barren woman. It's like, but actually there is going to be this move whereby they're going to have to expand. And this is written into the context of pre-exile, but actually it's talking into the exile that people are going to come back, but then into the New Testament as well. The parallel would be Matthew 28, go and make disciples of all nations, baptize them in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. And this picture of actually for us as a community, there's some things. And so I'm just going to be working through this passage. Enlarge the place of your tent. You've got the love camping analogies, haven't you? But when we planted as a small community, little 2-person tent, and then everybody could meet in a house. We moved on, we met in the gate. In 2018, we launched the north site. In 2020, we launched the west site, and then the pandemic came and it's like, whoa, what's going on? But actually the Lord is bringing towards us some new opportunities, and working with a church in Blackwood, and they've offered to give us their building, and we're going to plant an extended site into that community. But we're gearing up for that, putting some pastors in place in September. I haven't got time to tell the whole story, but actually there is a multiplication moment coming, and then in 2025 we're going to be launching a new site in the city as well. And so the Lord, these are just opportunities that the Lord's giving to us, and the imagery is about sailing, not rowing. It's not about kind of just putting in more effort and wanting to, it's like, Lord, where are you moving? Where's the wind moving? How do we catch that? And so we've got some beautiful opportunities coming towards us. Stretch your tent curtains wide is the next bit for those yet to come, that as the church goes on, it's easy for it to concentrate its resources internally. Suddenly it's like, oh, I've got all this need inside. But actually, how do you keep being like, no, we exist not just for the people that are with us, and we do, and we have to look after them and pastor them and care for them and build healthy community, but at the same time we exist for those yet to come. We've got to keep our doors open, because actually the gospel is for everybody. And we want to see multiplication at every level of our community, across our whole community. Strengthen our stakes, reinforce what we currently do. And actually, sometimes those massive stakes that you see with marquees, sometimes it's the boring things that mean that you strengthen your community, that keep it safe. Sorry, I say boring, they're not boring. The less glamorous things maybe would be a better way of putting it. Yeah, less glamorous, but they keep you safe, they help everything work. Strengthen your stakes. And one of the big things is around small groups, is that if I could see anything this year, it would be the multiplication of small groups, because that's what healthy community looks like. It's not just gathering a crowd, it's actually seeing transformation. And so in order to do that, the vision is to see everybody who calls our church home being in a community, and therefore we need enough communities. We've got just over 50 right now, but we're going to need more communities. We don't currently have enough communities for what the Lord's calling us to do, and that means community groups and theology groups and kids groups and youth groups and sports group, you know, all of it. It's like actually that people would feel part of something, that belong. So are you in a small group? If you are, you're probably watching this video. But you committed to that small group. There's one thing being in a small group. There's another being committed to it. Committed means turning up whether you're feeling a bit tired and all of those things. But also we're going to need people to launch communities as well. That maybe there's something on your heart. The thing I didn't mention was around addiction. We feel like there's some addiction group, breaking addiction, that we'd love to see as well. So a real push on the multiplication of small groups. And then finally, do not hold back. Do you know what I mean? It's like every person get in their place for what the Lord wants to do, using your skills, and then also just in terms of financially, just, you know, that question to put out as, you know, has your job changed, and, you know, your giving has changed, and therefore there's the moment to uplift that. For some of you to start that journey of giving, we'd love to invite you onto that journey. And for others, you might have a one-off gift that you just want to give. And so actually the journey of generosity is that if we're going to launch all the things that the Lord's got, we're going to need people to join in that journey.